welcome back. And today, this truck behind me is getting drive shafts and brake lines and possibly going on its first drive. I am waiting for one more fitting to come in for this truck, but it should be here inside this video. But before we get started on this, we have the one and only big giant second gen of mine inside of the shop. Unfortunately, it is still out of commission. The drop box still hasn't appeared back inside of it, nor do I know when that is going to happen. So, right now, it's in the same state it is when I filmed it last. So the steering is off of it, the sway bar, and a couple other miscellaneous pieces that are getting powder coated. The truck didn't have a sway bar on it when I built it. I actually just did that a few months back. It's been sitting for about 3 months now, hasn't even started. I built the sway bar for it. I sent it off to the powder coater when I picked up everything for my mega cab, which you guys haven't seen yet. And actually that truck is sitting outside and it looks flawless. I'll give you guys kind of a hint. It kind of matches this. I don't know if it's blue. It's definitely blue underneath of it. Yeah, that's the only color I ever do. So we pulled the truck into the shop today because I wanted to add some more rock lights to it. And we're not doing much today while waiting on parts for the silver truck, waiting on stuff for the mega cab. So I figured today would be the best time to pull this truck in and have them work on the rock lights, the rear bumper lights, license plate lights, all the little miscellaneous stuff that I never got to, while I work on getting the drive shafts and the brake line installed on that truck. So they're going to hook up these rear bumper pods. I actually went ahead and got some LED license plate lights that fit right into the bumper. Where is the license plate at? The plate is not on it. We'll find license plate. I have to relocate this camera because I got a hitch getting powder coated for the truck that will go right here, because obviously I'm going to be towing car trailers and possibly goosenecks with this thing. I wonder if Doolittle would build me a gooseneck that is for this truck. That'd be pretty insane. The top of the neck would be like 15 feet in the air, but I'm pretty sure this truck would pull it. I think we might have to add the little airbag somewhere back here. We can mount an airbag on top of the sway bar or something from like here to here. That way this thing won't squat all the way down when I do have a load on it. Rock lights on the side, maybe some more to the middle. The truck kind of needs a bath. It hasn't been washed since Gabe's pond, and it is absolutely filthy. But while they're working on that, we're going to go ahead and get these drive shafts thrown into this truck. After I get that done, I'm going to put the brake lines on that I got right here. And they're all nice, quick connect, AN fittings. Really easy to use. The only brake lines I run on all my builds when I lift them to this extent. And then, yeah, once this is all complete, we'll talk about what is going on with the silver second gen, because, again, we are carried away with that thing. So the drive shafts are in. We got the front one all hooked up. That way we don't have any comments of you guys saying, why don't you put a front drive shaft in any of your builds? Well, this drive shaft is now inside this build. This drive shaft will be inside that build. That drive shaft is there for the build, but it just won't hook up because that one has no drop box, because that drop box is inside this truck. Back here we got the rear drive shaft. That angle turned out perfect. Slip yokes at the end where the drive shaft meets the transfer case. Up top, you guys can see up there, it's a 1 foot long drive shaft. But right now, just got the truck up on stands in the front, and we are working on getting brake lines on it. Got these beautiful AN hoses going on to it. Everything fits perfectly. Don't mind the old caliper, obviously. We're going to test drive this truck first before we do any type of powder coat to it, just to make sure that it drives perfect. I know it will, but really just comes down to me being impatient. I just want to drive the truck. So we're going to work on getting the truck converted to an AN style fitting at the frame, then hook up the brake lines. Gotta go buy some rear pads and find some lug nuts. Okay, so we got these little fittings into the factory bracket that bolts up on the frame up top here inside the rear. So now that will mount up inside of there. Then our AN hoses will screw right on. Very nice and neat. So I'm going to work on getting these things tightened up to here, get that bolt back to the top. I'll probably run them down through here, come out the bottom of the truss, then they'll come down right here, and then to each side. Depending on how they look, I might leave them like that. They are 60-inch long brake lines, and the reason why they are so long is because when this truck is jumped off the Grand Canyon, I do not want the brake lines to rip off of it. So, yeah, little Milwaukee grinder, Milwaukee Sawzall, and a bandsaw. We got the brake line fitting swapped out. It was definitely a tight squeeze, but right now we are working on getting the front brake lines off the truck so we can convert those fittings to be able to hook up to these AN adapters. And then tomorrow, these two fittings will be here and we should be driving the truck. Yeah, this truck hasn't physically driven down the road in over a year. So it should be very cool to see this thing back on the road, moving around. If all checks out, we will be disassembling this truck right after that to get it powder coated. Alrighty, brake lines are on. We got pads on the truck as well because those were non-existent. We got brake fluid inside of it, got all the brakes bled. And right here, the brake line is just hanging for now. I don't want to get too crazy mounting it up yet because I am just going to test drive it really quick. And then as soon as I'm done test driving it, this truck is coming 100% apart, getting powder coated, getting all put back together, body's getting painted, and we might do some stuff with the motor yet, I don't know. But drive shafts are in it, like I was saying. Brake lines are done as well. Back here, we got the new pads onto the calipers because someone just wanted to take those and not put them back. It was a pain in the ass finding that exact brake pad for that because I don't know what year this axle is. I know it's like an 08 and newer because I bought an 08 pads and those finally fit. I got a couple more welds I need to get to on the inside of the cradle for the SCS mount that I can't get to with it all together because I didn't build this cradle to have a drop box in it. I did that after the fact. I realized this truck was massive. So it's been charging for about the last 3 hours. These batteries are stone dead. They're always dead. I don't get it because they were brand new, but it should have enough juice in it now to start it up. I will unhook the jump box off of it, back it outside, and see how this thing drives for the first time, which is crazy because it's been like a year since this truck has moved on its own weight, and now we get to drive it today. So let's get this thing fired up and back it outside. Let's see how good it drives. It is still dead. That's crazy. Got the truck started. We had to go buy new batteries because O'Reilly's Platinums, whatever brand they are, they suck. And I had to go buy them again now for the third time. And this truck hasn't driven but from here to like half a mile away since I bought batteries the first time. They went bad 3 times now. But we are inside the truck. It is driving. Don't mind the steering wheel. It's probably going to be out of alignment because, again, I'm not an alignment shop. And I don't have the computer to make the, what is it called? The foot, the toe.
Camber.
So I can't get my camber and my finger together, but I can eyeball it, and eyeballing it is pretty straight. So we have brakes. The truck stops. They do need to be blood again, but the calipers were also very rusty, and the rotors were very rusty from sitting around for so long. And yeah, so we're gonna take it down the road for the first time. I know that front like hub adapter for the dually has like 4 lug nuts on it, but 4 is better than 3, but 4 is worse than 5. So this is the test. It's either going to fall apart or it is going to make it down the road and everything will go smooth and we'll be able to come back to the shop, get a game plan on taking it apart and powder coating it. But should go pretty smooth. This thing does a fucking burnout. Oh my god. Alrighty, so it does a nasty burnout, but I got it up to like 70 mile an hour and we have a little bit of a grinding noise going on. So I know that the drop box is damn near brand new. The drive shafts are all brand new. We did buy these axles used, so we could have a problem going on inside the axles. I know the fluid's good. I am going to pull it to the shop. I'm going to take the front drive shaft out of it because if I take the front drive shaft out of it and it still grinds, we know that it's not a front drive shaft issue. So I am thinking that we should pull inside the shop and do that, but at the same time, it could also need a transfer case. You guys can kind of hear it right now. And to me, it sounds like a transfer case and it sounds like an axle. Personally, I don't think it's the axle because the axles looked very good when I was building them and when we bought them. So right now, we are pulling back into the shop. We're going to see what's going on underneath this thing, check all the fluids again, and just pray and hope that it's nothing major. The worst case is it's a drop box. The second worst case is that it's a transfer case. Third worst case is it's the axle. there's really no best case here because something needs fixed. And this truck's been like a year-long process. And the last thing I want to do is to take it all back apart again. But the lift performs awesome. It drives nice. For it not having an actual alignment, this thing steers very good. Nice and tight steering. And, oh, we're going to the pond. Probably shouldn't do that. So right now we are going to find our clicker to drive into the shop and start diagnosing what the problem could be. I don't think it's anything major, but we got to prepare for the worst. And worst case, we'll be taking the driveline back apart, which includes the drive shafts, the transmission, the drop box, the axles. Yeah, that's like half the truck, but it shouldn't be too hard for us to figure it out really quick. So we are right now going to drive it into the shop. It is so nice having a clicker in my pocket at all times because we're always coming in and out of here in different vehicles. And being able to just pull up, stop the door so it doesn't let all of the heat out, drive right in like this. And I usually do one of these things. My girlfriend taught me this trick actually. So you back up a little bit. Now we're gonna sit here and watch. Make sure the door doesn't hit us. Imagine. Go up a little bit more. So we can walk behind it and let's figure this out. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is take that front drive shaft off because that is the easiest. I am hoping and praying that it's not the front axle because this front axle literally has everything welded to it and done. And the last thing I want to do is have to buy a new axle and retruss it, put the sway bar tabs on it, blah, blah, blah. Or replace everything inside the axle and find the problem. So, really quick, I'm going to unbolt that shaft and we will see what that does, take it on another drive, and hopefully that fixes it. And if it does, then we either have a driveline problem or an axle problem up front. To be determined. Okay, so it still makes the grinding noise. I took the drive shaft out, I just test drove it, and it's still doing it. So we are back to square one with this truck right now. I'm doing a process of elimination. The lift kit, everything steers, rides perfect. The steering angles are perfect. The only thing that could be off is drive shaft angles, but from my experience and from my knowledge, these drive shaft angles are way better than my big truck drive shaft angles, and that truck runs and drives great down the road. Something else is going on. I am not a gear expert, so I will take apart the axles at a later date. I will inspect the drop box, but I know that thing is perfect because it came out of my truck, and that thing was amazing inside of that truck. Transfer case, that might come apart and check out what is going on inside there. Long story short, the truck runs and drives. That was my goal for this week. We did just that. It is a 10-year-old truck and it does have problems. It still is a Cummins, but it runs and drives. We're going to get it out of the shop now until I get a little bit more time to work on this. We have a couple other projects going on that need to be wrapped up before this truck gets touched again. But we're going to take this out of the shop, and then we have a little tiny surprise for a Ford that we have here from our boys over at Lasfit. Okay, so now that the Mega Cab is out of the shop, we have that sitting outside. I've had a project I've been wanting to do for a long time that includes the interior of your vehicle. So Lasfit Liners was nice enough to send us out a set of floor mats for the inside of your vehicle. These are for a 2024 F-250. The factory ones that they have are usually cloth and they just get soaked with snow. As you guys can hear outside, it's currently hailing, so you guys understand the weather that we deal with here inside of Indiana. So we're gonna pull the Ford into the shop really quick. We are going to set these floor mats inside of it, which look absolutely beautiful. They'll also come with the stops on the bottom of them that lock into the factory location on the Fords, so you don't have to worry about them sliding around. Front and rear both have those little locks that go inside of it, because who wants to deal with their floor mats sliding around all the time? I know that is no fun, and a custom fitted floor mat is the best option for your vehicle. So we're gonna pull that truck in, get these things installed, and see how they turn out. Just like that, the old mats are out, the new ones are in. These things fit perfectly, nice and tight around all the edges. They have these two little locks on it to where it cannot slide out. That will be a lot easier to clean than that stock carpet mat. You guys can kind of see the comparison on there. That's what comes from the factory, and that is what we now have. Back here, it just had two little like square mats around on each side. The center wasn't covered, so now it goes from each side of the door right here, nice and tight, perfectly fit. And now with Indiana's weather and the snow and salt, the carpet of this brand new truck will not be destroyed. But now that this is done, we're gonna push this one back out of the shop. I got one update for you guys that will be coming for the next video that you guys are probably gonna wanna watch. So now that the Ford is out of the shop, we can talk about one project that you guys have probably been dying to see finished, and that is my mega cab. So before this video ends, I'll give you guys a little update on that truck. So the truck is 100% complete with all the suspension work that I did. We are still waiting for the transmission to come back from BD Diesel. I had them do some upgrades to it because I plan on doing turbos, injectors, and a bunch of other supporting modifications to my truck to accommodate the towing capabilities of it. Right now, the truck is just bone stock. It is deleted and tuned. And besides that, everything else is all stock on it. Oh, it has a cold air intake as well. I want that truck to be able to tow this truck and another big truck through the mountains effortlessly. And the transmission, that thing shifts flawless. The motor, though, does not have the full potential that I want it to have to get these trucks where they need to be. And I know that that Cummins can definitely handle it, and that has proven it to me multiple times. So when that transmission comes back, we will be doing the full reveal video on that truck. I know it's taking like all of me not to just post a video right now because that thing looks absolutely killer. I'm staring at it right now, actually. And all I want to do is just share that truck with you guys. But I want to wait till it is 100% complete because I don't want to just be like, hey, surprise, my truck's done, but it doesn't drive. We're not doing that. So with that being said, we got the big truck into the shop. I have to do some work on this over the weekend, just some small minor stuff. And then once that's out of here, we should have the trans back and we'll be ready to slap that in, get that truck back on the road, and then you guys will see it. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Drop a comment below on what you guys want to see on the channel and what we should do next. I know we do have a lot of projects going on right now between the big truck, the silver truck, my brother's truck, and the mega cabs. So I'll see you guys in the next one.